There are so many different guitar pedals on the market, all with their own unique flavors and designs, but there's a big elephant in the room, so to speak, with guitar pedals. And it's the fact that a lot of guitar pedals are just rip-offs of other pedals. What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Taylor. If you want to use a nicer term that doesn't sound like it has legal implications, we can use clones. Now, this is nothing new in the guitar industry. Guitar and amplifier manufacturers have also been copying each other's homework from the beginning. And there's so much we could go into here, especially when we start talking about the even more gray area topics like amp modeling, a great topic for a future video. All right, before we can start diving into the pedal that inspired this video, let's talk about plagiarism, what it is, and how it's legal for pedal manufacturers to borrow other manufacturers' designs. Plagiarism is taking someone else's work, words, ideas, thoughts, or opinions and making them your own. And while it is considered a form of theft and dishonorable, it is not actually illegal here in the United States. However, patent and copyright infringement is illegal. It's actually kind of complicated, and I'm going to do my best to summarize this, and in case I need to say it, I'm not a lawyer. You know, if I was, I probably wouldn't be making YouTube videos in my garage. Probably. Okay, I was editing this part of the video and I just felt like it was probably important to say this just for clarification. Patents, copyrights, and trademarks are all different. A patent protects new inventions, processes, or scientific creations. A trademark protects brands, logos, or slogans, and a copyright protects original works of authorship. And spoiler alert, this is going to come up in a minute when I talk about Behringer because they actually won a lawsuit because the court ruled that circuit designs were not protected by copyright law. I guess they should have got that patent. Now, if you, like you watching, wanted to protect your intellectual property, in this case a circuit design, then you can file for a patent. When you file for a patent, not only is it cost prohibitive, maybe that's not a big deal for some of the bigger names in the game, but if anything ever changes, like let's say a component being used is no longer available, you have to swap it out for something similar, guess what? New patent. Also, you have to disclose all the details of your design, which now becomes public information, meaning anyone can look up your design and slightly alter something so it is no longer infringing on your patent. And even then, having a patent doesn't mean you necessarily have a cut and dry case to stop someone else from selling your product. You just have the legal grounds to sue them, which is a whole other can of worms. Kind of makes the system feel broken, doesn't it? Now there's companies like Behringer that have based their entire business model off borrowing other more well-established brands' designs. So why is Behringer allowed to do this and why do they get away with it? A quick Wikipedia read will show you the multiple lawsuits Behringer has dealt with and how they are resolved. There was one in June of '97 where 𝗦𝗍𝗃 tried to sue Behringer for $327 million in damages. I mean, go big or go home, I guess. They lost that case, but they were later sued in 2005 by Roland, you know Roland, the one that owns Boss Pedals, over some pedal designs which Behringer had cloned. They later settled out of court for an undisclosed sum. I guess the point here is it's not as cut and dry as who did what first. Now this is where I want to open it up to you guys. What are your thoughts and opinions on companies like Behringer and their business practices? Some people will say you get what you pay for, others will say it's a shady practice that needs to stop, and then there's a group of people who think that they are heroes of sorts for making products that most people can't afford. I don't really know which group I fall into, but what I will say is that there is a whole gray area here between guitar gear being inspired and just straight ripping off someone else's work. For example, there's a plethora of HM2 style pedals, and the reason I believe so many of these were incredibly successful is because not only did a lot of them change the controls or add their own valuable features, but Boss also created a vacuum for other companies to thrive in after the HM2 gained popularity and Boss discontinued production for so long. In cases like this, I don't think that there's anything wrong with a pedal manufacturer meeting the demand that's not being met by the current market. I also think that innovation in design is a good thing, something that would have been nice to see Boss implement on the HM2 𝗦𝗍𝗘𝗏𝗶 pedal. A pedal that kind of made it seem like they didn't understand the market and how people were using these and who they appealed to. And then we go to the other side of the spectrum with this pedal that I have right here in my hand. This is the Demon Effects Precision Drive, a pedal that is so blatantly ripping off another pedal that it didn't bother to change its name or any of its aesthetic design elements. This is the pedal that it's ripping off, the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. And if you look at these pedals side by side, there is not much that's different about them. The enclosures are roughly the same size, with the Demon Effects being slightly larger. The paint on them is ever so slightly different, with the Precision Drive being a little bit more glittery, I guess I would say. The LEDs are also a little bit different. We will go into that here in just a second. I mean, the font is slightly different, but look at these things. Look at how close they are in design. These pedals both serve the same function, and if someone saw you playing the Demon Effects Precision Drive on a dimly lit stage, they could very well mistake it for a Horizon Devices Precision Drive. Now, I don't want to come to any conclusions just yet, and I would ask that you reserve your judgment here until we actually play both these pedals and see if they sound any good, because if the Demon Effects Precision Drive sounds like dog shit, then this video is kind of pointless. First, let's open these pedals up so I can show you the guts and we can see what's going on inside. Okay, so I just got these guys open and they actually look quite a bit different on the inside. I am going to get a professional opinion here in just 1 second, but this is what they look like so far. This red one here on the left is the Horizon Devices Precision Drive, and this green one over here on the right is the Demon Effects pedal. To me, like, there's more stuff going on here in the red, but again, I will get a professional opinion on that. Let's keep taking these things apart. Okay, these things are taken completely apart. Now, when I was taking them apart, I did notice the precision drive was easier to take apart. Does that mean it's built less good? I don't know. I'm just telling you things that I noticed. Here are the pedals completely out of the housing. Now, the red one is the Horizon Devices Precision Drive, and the green one, the Demon Effects Precision Drive. Let me read you something that is really interesting here. I did ask my friend who builds pedals what he thought based off the pictures. I also just sent him gut shots and didn't tell him which is which, although he knows what he's doing, so he probably figured it out. And this is what he says. Seems like the same main circuit, to be honest. Definitely a different bypass circuit. Red is not true bypass, and green is true bypass. Both are Tube Screamer based with switchable filter caps in the gain stage. Looking at the manufacturer, what's surprising is the Demon Effects uses better parts and a better bypass scheme. And then he asked me if it's a precision drive and a clone of it, to which I replied yes, so he did figure it out there. But I thought that was really interesting feedback, you know, him just looking at the parts and saying that the Demon Effects precision drive actually has better components inside and it's true bypass. Now, does any of that mean anything? Do they sound different? Let's plug them in and find out. We have the two precision drives, the Horizon Devices and the Demon Effects precision drive, hooked up in front of this 𝗦𝗐𝗏𝗶 that is going into this 𝗦𝗣𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏 cabinet. This one right here. The reason I'm using the 𝗦𝗣𝗏𝗏𝗏 cabinet is that I wanted to. That is being mic'd up with a Sennheiser 421 on the T75 speaker and a Voodoo Ribbon 1 on the V30 speaker for speaker mic nerds. This is what the 𝗦𝗐𝗏𝗶𝗹 sounds like on its own. You probably don't need to know much about what's going on with the amp other than that's what it sounds like. So we're talking about the pedals. Let's engage the Horizon Devices precision drive. Now let's go to the Demon Effects precision drive. I have these set pretty much exactly the same. This looks like it's set different, but these are stepped and these are in the same positions. It's one away from all the way up on both of them, even though the knobs look like they're facing different. They're not. It's just the way they are. I don't know. They sound pretty identical to me. Now, I gotta say, I really had a dilemma about comparing these two pedals. I didn't want to compare these two pedals like this, but I knew if I didn't, I was gonna get a lot of questions and criticism, like, why didn't you demonstrate both of them back to back? And at the end of the day, I wanna make the best video for you guys. This is not me trying to be funny right now. This is me trying to be serious. I just wanna make the best video for you guys, and I felt like, even though ethically, like I might have some moral objections to this pedal existing, you might not. And I don't need to tell you what to do. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life, man. You know, you just do whatever makes you happy. If you wanna spend your money on the Demon, do it. I'm not gonna judge you. Yeah, so far they sound nearly identical, but let's dive in a little bit more and see if we can actually get some changes out of them. The first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm going to put the drive on both of these at 50%. Let's put the bright there at 3 o'clock, and then let's just turn the attack all the way up. So again, it looks like they're not the same, but the attack is actually up all the way on both these. Same thing with the gate. The gate lights work differently on these pedals, so obviously there's some small differences. This one has a red light, this one has a blue light when it's engaged. The gate light is on when you're playing with the Demon effects. Whereas with the precision drive, the gate light is on when the actual gate is on. These are very, very minute differences, but maybe they matter to you. Again, I'm not gonna judge you, you know? Go back to the precision drive with the same settings. And again, amp by itself. So there is a difference in between the gates on these pedals, and the Demon effects is a little bit like brighter by comparison. And I have both the bright knobs pretty much, yeah, like at the same spot. I would say like the gain is a little bit smoother on the Horizon devices precision. I might be crazy though. Let's go back. I don't, you know, it's really hard to say. I would say that the change is so minimal that I could just be fooling myself. I don't know. This is the crunch channel. I'm actually gonna dial this so it's a little bit dark. Precision drive. Horizon devices, precision drive. Demon effects, precision drive. Amp on its own again. The precision drive does sound like slightly brighter and like more kind of tinny to me, but it's very subtle. It's not by much. And I think that we can probably really tell if we turn the drives all the way up and the brightness all the way up. Let's see how much of a difference that makes. Again, we have the attack all the way up as well. Okay, very, very bright. Let's see how the Demon effects is. Man, yeah, it's really hard to tell, but it sounds like the precision drive just sounds a little bit cheaper. And I'm totally willing to accept that might be my imagination. Let me know if you think that in the comments below. But just listening to it in the room, whether or not that's translating, the precision drive just sounds like a little bit more high-pitched and like squealy, but the gate is better. Let's go back to the lead channel. You know, it's doing okay. It's not crazy. Let's see about... almost nothing. Let's do the drive down at the bottom. So we're not really listening to the drive characteristic anymore. We're just testing the gate on this. And let's go again. Let's just go with the attack all the way up. And turn the gain up on the amp a little bit too. Demon effects. Clamps down pretty quick. Do you hear the gate? Kunk, kunk, like cutting on the Horizon devices. It doesn't do that with the Demon effect. So with the Demon effects, the gate is more pleasing when it turns on and off. It's like smoother. With the Horizon devices pedal, it's very like hard, you know, it's clunk. But these differences are very subtle, and I'm trying to push these pedals to sort of extreme lengths to get them to do things that are actually different from one another so that we can kind of see what the differences are, because really there's not a whole lot of difference between these two pedals other than the things I already said at the beginning of the video. So now we've heard these back to back, what do you guys think? Is Demon Effects an evil company that should be stopped at all costs? Are they a hero for making boutique expensive pedal knockoffs that are way more affordable? Allegedly, and this is just according to internet rumors, so who knows, Demon Effects received a cease and desist from Friedman over a blatant copy of a Friedman BE overdrive pedal, but you can still buy them on Amazon, so it doesn't look like they've ceased or desisted. So ultimately, this comes down to a case of, is this ethical or not? And should you buy one of these pedals? I would say that personally for me, I don't think that it's very ethical. I think that if you wanted a precision drive clone, there are others on the market that are actually more affordable, like the Joyo Argos pedal. But then again, I can see the other side of it as well. And if I'm being truly honest, I think that my bias is playing a factor here, because if this was a knockoff of something from a company that had a bad reputation, like if it was inauthentic, I would have less of a problem with it. I don't know why that is though. I'm really torn here, and I'm curious what you guys think of it. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to let YouTube know. If you like what I do here on my channel, consider subscribing, or better yet, joining us over on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. There is also a link to my workshop and Spotify down there in the description if you want to support even further. And with all of that said, thank you guys so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.